Thank you, Craig. And so OHDSI is a wonderful open science community dedicated to creating real-world evidence and observational research off of that. We create open source technology as part of that. We have over 250 repos on GitHub where we have different software that can do different pieces of this rich ecosystem. We are going to have a special workshop on November 29th about not on how we go about making decisions, how we go about organizing the work, and how we go about how we develop the repos so that it can be secure for you, that it can be easier to use, and how you can get the most out of OHDSI. Now, you're thinking that maybe you're not a programmer, and so this might not be for you, and you would be wrong. Next slide, Craig. You'll find that, so in GitHub, we use GitHub for much more than just software development. We use it for project management. It's used for the book of OHDSI. It's used for helping us organize our work for the common data model. So actually, GitHub's a great open repository for groups to come together to accomplish work and be able to look at for collecting features and looking at issues. Next slide. And I wanted you to know, so one of our goals is really, what is open source governance? So our goal is to make sure that the software that you use is easy to install, it's easy to use, easy to integrate with as a platform, and easy to contribute to. Now, what's interesting is that we've had so much growth in the OHDSI community over the last several years. We've got all these new great tools that it actually makes it harder to make sure that everyone knows how to use them, that they're easy to use. And so there needs to be a part of our work to help integrate this all together so that we can get people involved and be able to use more of our software. So one of the goals is we're hoping to encourage more contributors. Now, what is a contributor? You can be a contributor if you submit a feature request, if you have a new idea for a feature, or if you have an issue using the software. And so this is, so we really see that even if you're not a programmer, there's a lot of roles for you to fill within each of our projects that we do this with. So we're hoping to reduce some of the technical debt of support, of being able to use all of these tools within your environment so you can get the most value out of OHDSI for your organization. We want to make sure we recognize all the people who volunteer and contribute code, just like the ones who help us put together manuscripts and study analytics with the data. We also want to recognize all the people who are making these tools possible. And we also would like to increase the velocity of our development cycle. We'd like to make sure that we can bring in new features faster for you to take advantage of. Next slide, Craig. So one thing that I wanted to share with you, here's a couple of links on GitHub. On the left-hand side, you'll see that here are a list of some of the R packages that we use within just the Hades environment for doing the methods. And you'll find that we have a whole slew of different maintainers. There's three types of people typically in GitHub land. There are contributors, those who provide feedback and provide issues. There are those who can then make some of the changes within the software. Then there are committers, and then there's maintainers who help us organize all the work that's being done around a package so it makes sense, it's tied to a scope of work, and it's tied to a strategy. But what you'll see is inside GitHub, there's things in there where we can do project management. We have Kanban boards. We have ability. We can look at our pull requests and our features, and this is where we can come together and make decisions of what our priorities are for what features are really important to do next, and how we can distribute the work in ways that more people can be involved in the development process. We find having more diverse groups being part of the development is very helpful for us to. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for that note. Next slide. And so lastly, so here are some of the roles we need to have a really rich open source ecosystem. Yes, you want some programmers, but some of the programmers could be in HTML or R and Python. You'll notice that we use a whole slew of different technologies. We want architects and people who can reviewers. We'd like to make sure that each of our software has unit testing so that when we can do automated integration testing, and every time we do a release, we can do more and more automation and develop a process where we can do this quicker. But we also need a lot of project management, and we need people who can communicate and organize and help us support the documentation, and helpers and people who have questions who can help us explain the tool and how it can be used to create value at an organization. in that process. So I'm hoping this will not be a coding session. This will be a session about how we come together as a community to decide what work to do and how we try to accomplish that work. So thank you. And we'll have a link out to the event. We'll share within Teams.